Excellent. Welcome to another episode of Starseed Activations. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to jump right in to the questions. So we had a couple questions come in through the website, and we're going to start with those first. Now, you know what? I'll do one of the other questions first. This way it gives everyone time to get in. So we have energetic grids. There's 3 different levels on the outside of the physical form. There's 3 different levels on the inside of the physical form. Now, what that looks like is when we start to talk and speak about the 3 rings that are located above the head, it's actually above the crown chakra. So those 3 rings are up there, and then there is a form of a stargate. It is a frequency encoded gate in which the 144 energetic nodes need to be fully unlocked to allow the individual access into the higher frequency ranges. When we start to do certain meditations, how this feels like is, imagine pulling your light body out of your physical form, right out the top of the crown chakra. And then you'll feel the physical body actually pulls up a tiny bit when we do this. It's wild. And it pulls up, and then all of a sudden your light body taps into that. It's kind of like a frequency block. So we're blocked from leaving the 3D reality until we're a high enough frequency where we're allowed to leave. That's kind of how that works. This is the reason why we want to go inside. We have to do the shadow work. We have to release any densities in our energetic grids. Now, the density is like darkness. It's trauma. It's pain. It's ugliness. It's the parts of the self that we don't like to look at. Now, when we start to dive in and do shadow work, it's us shining a spotlight on the parts of our personality grid complex that we may not like or be in alignment with. That's okay too. Anything that we don't like, we want to send compassion and love and light to. That's actually how we come back to a point of neutrality. And when we come back, oh, it is staticky. See, I didn't plug in the microphone tonight. Let me go plug in the microphone. All right. Okay. Let's see if this works. Because with the microphone on, it was staticky as well. So a part of me was like, maybe it's the microphone. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it now with the microphone. Page. Oh, no. Stay on the page. What did I just do? Okay. Is the sound any better? So just Paige and Nancy, just type in the comment box and just let me know if the sound is any clearer with the microphone. I can't believe the microphone isn't doing what it needs to do. Or this is what do you call it? I went out and I bought a Mac. Like, I'm not really a Mac person. Okay, so the sound is still terrible. You know what? Let me fire up the other laptop and I'll try and log in with that one and come back on. So just give me a few minutes, guys. We're going to restart again. Instagram, you guys should be fine. Okay. Now, hold on. Let's see. Is there a retrograde? Maybe it's a retrograde. We blame everything on a retrograde. If there isn't a retrograde, there should be a retrograde. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm going to sign off this one and log in with the old computer. So I will see you guys in just a moment. Okay. Let's see. Exit. Yes. I think we got it. Let's see. Can you guys hear me now? Is it coming up? I can't see the chat on the new. Wonderful. We're just going to roll with it. Just can kind of see the messages. 5x5, perfect. Work. Let me get this one. Has to be plugged. That means we'll probably have to take another trip to Apple to get them to fix the audio. Okay, let me take a sec. Okay, let's see. What was the question? Okay, the energetic layers on the out levels to the energetics is going to your inner circle controls your biological form. The middle ring controls your social circles, as well as people play. What that looks like is you being able to. I think this one here. Hold on. Okay, it's messing me up a little because I'm seeing like an extra layers on the outside of the energy access into collective. Like is when we start to focus on the outer worlds, we can to the outer worlds, which is cutting out maybe because this computer. Let me see. Okay. This is into studio. Let me shut this off. Okay. Can you hear me now? Hopefully this is better. Can you hear me now? Because it says connection issue, which is crazy. I need to reselenite the computers. The blue one. Instagram can hear me fine. So if you guys want to scroll your way over to Instagram, right? The chat on the screen is done by Restream, the app. And so there's a little icon that lets it come right through. Yeah, Instagram, you guys never have a problem over there. So much better. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me on Facebook. Okay, go on Instagram. So we'll just continue and hopefully, I really don't know why the computer's doing that. I could see it glitching now. Now, start to focus on the grids. This actually, people are saying, let's do attunement. So I want everyone to take a nice deep breath in. And release. Just go ahead and take another in. And release. And so we just ever so greatly thank the Ascended Masters and thank the high frequential beings, as well as the star people, for clearing up any technical difficulties, allowing it so that every person can see and communicate through this downloaded channeling right now. And so we just open our hearts. We send love and light to being one tribe, one unity, and activating our consciousnesses, allowing for high frequency knowledge to come through and allow us. And so we just say many love and blessings, dear star people and dear higher frequential beings. Okay, now take a nice deep breath in. And release. Right. And so it is, right? And so now we just start moment. Now, this is how powerful we all are, by the way, because when we start to come together in groups, command the energy. So if the energy is guilty and all that stuff, when we come together, 3 or more manifestations, especially when we have 14 over here, I don't 7 over there, there's more people here. So we become in alignment with the energies and to come forward. So we all do this type of thing. Now we can use for healing people, which is a blessing, because if you guys can visualize somebody, let's say you know somebody who's sick, or if they have a cast on their arm, if we start to visualize them and see them as already being healed, it would actually allow for them to heal more rapidly. Now, what that looks like is there was once a time on my cat outside, and when I didn't look like my cat, and so we are, and oh, that's not what Munchkin looks like. My eyes blinked from left to right before my eyes, and I never in a coloring completely shifted. So we aren't able to shift through parallel realities. This is how we work. We're multidimensional in our nature. So we are capable of making instantaneous downloads or instantaneous shifts into different parallel realities. This is a real thing. So we just don't see it happening because the picture is flipping so rapidly that it makes this look like it's solid. It's not solid at all. It is a holographic simulation. I've seen through it, so I know. Now, when we start to dive in deep, we start to work on our energetics. The energetics is key because it can change your entire life. It doesn't matter what trauma or you guys have going on. Those are only distortions of your higher self. The higher self is a pure frequency. Your higher self was born perfect. And so when you come into this world, your binary codex frequency determines color, all of that stuff. You're basically in a perfect form. Of course, defect individuals are slightly different than everybody else. So we want to only talk right now about everybody else. The birth defect in that the soul pre-plans before they drop into the physical world to have those experiences. It's okay to have these experiences because every needed to be fully expressed in order to allow the entire civilization to evolve. Now, right, if we didn't have a reason to look inside and to make the changes to ourselves and to more love and light and step into a world in which we are caring and sharing to each other and having more respect for each other and the boundaries. And so the boundaries is, oh, maybe you're a little different than me. So there's a boundary there. We need to drop though. We're all light beings. Now, in the future, we will solidly have the ability to shapeshift. This is a metaphysical fact. There's no getting around it. Teleportation devices reprogram at the subatomic level. It takes all the atoms and molecules, breaks it all down, reconfigures it, and puts it in another location. So if you wanted to make changes to the binary codex, the way to go about doing that would be bippity boppity bam, now all of a sudden you're on. It's possible. And so we can use the technology to make the changes, or we can go inside and use the internal circumstances to make the changes. Now, when we start speaking about the grids, the outside is always going to be service to the collective. When you promote the outside world, that even let's say somebody who is go hug a tree or go plant a tree or beaches and the oceans and the this or the that, whatever it is that they feel drawn to do, it is service to the collective because they are helping to clean up the outside reality. Even when we look at other people, the other person is a reflection of ourselves. But the key is we have to look inside of ourselves because we have to be service to the self as well. So you have to set boundaries. You have to treat yourself in compassion, respect, right? You have to maintain your body. You have really good rituals. Your rituals is what you're going to fall back on. So let's take, for an example, you wake up in the morning, you drink a cup of coffee. Every morning, that's a ritual. Let's say you quit coffee, you quit for over a year. All of a sudden, you get triggered. That ritual comes back around as a cycle repeat. And the second you get triggered, there's a potential for you to start drinking the coffee again. So you have to make new rituals that are going to be healthy and beneficial to your well-being. And we shouldn't really focus on what other people think of us. If the people around us don't like, take yourself and move yourself and surround yourself with people that do. So the people who don't like us, they're casting energetics at us in a negative frequency. And so we want to always remove ourselves and fill ourselves with love and light, focus on the self. And then when the time is right, we call in a higher frequential tribe. Now, many light workers and star seeds, the star people are saying, during this time, you guys have been put into isolation. This is done by design. This is not because it's to punish you. This is strictly because the universe was re-encoding energetics to your own frequency. The more love and compassion you could have for yourself, the higher you got to raise your energetic grids, which in turn is going to manifest a magnetic alignment. And that tribe is going to be people that you won't have to put any boundaries between you and them. You'll have an open heart. You could tell them anything. You know they're not going to hurt you. You know they're not going to run around or do any, none of that lower vibrational experiences, as star people are saying. So we always want, if you guys see any people in your reality and the people in your reality are doing any low vibrational things, it's okay to pull yourself back and to rebalance to your energetics. I need a break. I just got to pull myself back in. I focus on house. I focus on myself, right? I do some self-care, some rituals there. I take a look at all of aging with, and then I start rebalancing and diving into my own shadow work with the star people. You guys too can call upon the star people. They will help you with your shadow work. They have a rep for each and every person watching, regardless on if you're watching this during the live or well after the live. It's okay. They know who we are. They know who every one of us are. They know who we are. So yeah. Oh, you're going through this too right now. So this is a perfect synchronicity for you. It's okay to be alone and then find people who are very like-minded. Now, it's absolutely amazing when you do find the people who are like-minded, because you just completely feel at home with them. And so you want to look for that sensation of feeling at home or feeling very safe, feeling like it's okay to drop your boundaries. And then, if you ever find someone and then they're like protecting you, that's a major indication as well that they're good to go. So people will always protect you when they care about you or they see or sense your value. So always have a look at that. Now, the one question that came in today was, how do we activate the 365 extra senses? My attunement is clairvoyance, which is seeing through memory grids into the past and future. So clairvoyance, it allows you to see. You can see what's going to happen. You can sense it. Many people will see with their third eye, so they will get an image or a visual. Some people will sense it, so they'll just know, oh, that was going to happen. So these are all different clairvoyant abilities. Now, the term clairvoyant abilities, it's a very brief. It covers so many different things. And so there's 365 extrasensory abilities. Now, the ability to project into the future, I've done this before. I used to have conversations with people, and my mind was working so rapidly that I would be projecting into the future of the conversation. So it was like knowing what they were going to say to the third degree. So what this looks like is I'm speaking a sentence. As I'm speaking the sentence, I know what they're going to say in response to this sentence, and I'm already projecting my response, their response, my response, and their response. It's to the third degree. This is possible. This is also a mental grid ability, which is when the brain waves fire off. There has to be a better word for that, they're saying, because I keep using the word fire off. It's not
We're going to rework that word. But they're saying the mental grid and your brainwave patternings goes at a much lighter frequency. So it's much more rapid, is what they're saying. Now, this is important because it actually assists you. Like monoatomic gold is wonderful to research. It actually increases the conductivity patternings, which basically means that it's going faster. Now, when your thoughts go faster, it allows you to sense more of the physical reality. So, how do we get there? The easiest way to do it, one, is to never stop learning. So, you need to be, well, if you want to be, need to be. If you want to grow and enhance this particular, start studying every day. Pick a topic that you are excited and passionate about. And this is actually the easiest way is me. When you're happy and excited, you start to talk more rapidly, which then in turn automatically starts to activate the brainwave patterning at a higher rate. Then it's going to happen automatically. Now, when we have two people together and the two people are happy and excited about the same topic, you'll notice that they will talk at lightning fast speeds. This, once again, is only a mirror reflection of whatever frequency that you are holding, and it's being cast back at yourself. So your happiness and excitement is coming back at you. That's what this is, but it is an extrasensory ability. So seeing into the future, now we can start doing that through meditation. Everything comes down to meditation. However, there's so many different types of meditations that no one talks about, and I only know them because this is what the star people told me. And so when we speak about a meditation, there's the one meditation which you lay down and you completely put your body to sleep. That's wonderful for astral projection, for fine tuning. If you're sick and you want to download extra light source into the body to do instantaneous healings, that's how you would do that. You have to shut down the body and start accessing the ether in order to pull that source frequency down into the physical body, which is wonderful. Now, when we speak about different meditations and trying to cast yourself into the future, what this looks like is dropping into, and it doesn't have to be a long meditation. A lot of us have the ADD going, so many people can't really focus that long. That's okay too, because there's a way to override that. That's actually an extrasensory ability in itself. Now, when we drop in, we close our eyes and we start to do things like see where you want your future to be. So, what do you want to experience? Now, that's one way of projecting the consciousness. The star people are saying it's like a chakra. You can project or you can receive. You can sit and you can do both. And so, visualization is projecting your consciousness and telling your higher self what you want to manifest. But receiving is when you kick back and you shut your eyes and you tell the higher self, or you thank the higher self for giving you a visual representation of what it is that you are currently in alignment to receive. So what that's doing is your consciousness is actually tuning into the magnetism of your grids, and it is showing you a visual representation of what you're in alignment to manifest. That's all it is, very simply. Each and every one of us can do this. It is special in its own right, but each and every one of us can do this. We just have to place a conscious focus and attention and be aware that it's something that we can do. It's wonderful. Now, we can remote view. Remote viewing is seeing the physical world or your location ring in the now moment. And so, what that looks like is closing your eyes. You can do this with a pen and paper in front of you so you can write down details. And then you ask ever so gently, thank you, higher self, for showing me. You could take something and you could put it in an envelope so you're unaware of what your target to remote view is. And then you can start trusting your intuition and just writing things down. And then after you open your eyes, you check your envelope and you start seeing if it's real. Now, when you start to see if it's real, it allows you to prove it to yourself. When you prove it to yourself, then you believe even more, which then, bam, it's like a light switch goes off and it's like, oh, I believe and I know I can do this. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me just take a sip. So good. Okay. Now, is it possible to be a star seed from the seventh dimension or higher? That was one of the next questions that came in. So, the seventh dimension, many of us came from the angelic realms. This is what it is. Now, the way the Starseed program worked, a lot of times in the beginning stages of sending the starseeds here, they took us from realms like the angelic realms or very high frequential beings, and they allowed us to drop straight into a physical body in 3D. That was a mistake because those souls could potentially have gotten stuck in the earth reincarnation. So a lot of times now, the star people are correcting, they're saying every single time now, if you're from the angelic realm, you have to drop into an extraterrestrial life to get used to being in a physical body before you drop into the 3D realm and have a physical life here now. This is done to protect the soul form because when the individual is accustomed or more accustomed to being in it is going to allow them to blend in a little bit better and to be able to handle the physicality or the density level that's here on earth. It's very dense here on earth. That's okay too. Is each hand designed for receiving or sending? That's a good one. Your right hand, if you are a righty only, is for casting. And so think about it that way. You're writing in that hand. So your primary hand for casting is that hand. Your receiving would be the opposite hand. Some people, it's different. For left-handed people, it's totally reversed. That's okay too. So it goes by your more dominant hand is the casting hand. Now, that's really, really important because when we start to look at the lines on the actual, one hand is going to show receiving lines and one hand is going to show you your casting lines. So very important. How can we ask for keeping us in line with what we are manifesting? You are with what you are manifesting. It's all to do with your magnetism. So when we start to dive into the energetics and we start to really pull apart, now we can do this per chakra because it's easy and it's simple. We always want to start with the easiest thing, just get the job done, right? So if we see the root chakra, we pull it so that we can see the entire grid surrounding our body. This is how I do my energetic clearings too. I open up the grid. They tell me to make a square. You make a square and then you open up the circle. That's the grid. That's how we want to do it. And when we start to close our eyes and see into the energetic grid, just you can imagine it either as completely red surrounding the body, or you can imagine it as an actual sacred geometric grid, which is how it actually looks scientifically. Either way is fine because each and every consciousness and change the way the energetic grid works or looks in the astral, of course. So it all really depends on your level of awareness because when you reach a certain level of awareness, you can make changes or modifications to the grids as well as the physical form. So your physical form, just imagine for 1 second if somebody wanted to do they wanted to manifest more muscles on their body. They would take physically focused steps, go to the gym, eat right, work out, stretch, all the different steps that we know and believe, right? And then that would have in time manifest for them. That's wonderful. Now, by working in the energetic grids, we know for a scientific fact that people can sit down and they can watch or visualize themselves doing the exercise, and their muscles has the same exact response as if they just did the real exercise. So that right there tells us moving the physical body, it's wonderful, but we can do the same thing with just our mentality, right? And so that's like a slam dunk because what that means is we have a mimic extrasensory ability. We know this as monkey see, monkey do. That's what is said on the planet. And so when you see someone and they just ran a mile in 10 minutes, that means that your consciousness now becomes unlocked so that you know and believe that you could do it too. You just have to put your focus and concentration on it. That's how it works. That ability utilizes mirror neurons in the front neocortex, and so the mirror neurons actually gives us access into the language abilities. And so when we go somewhere, let's say I'm from New York, you guys can probably hear the New York in me, but let's say I went and I spent 5 years in like the UK. My language is going to start to shift over time because I'm hanging out over there. So their frequency starts to blend in my energetics, which changes who I am. This is how important your location is too, by the way, because whoever you are surrounding yourself with, it impacts you whether you know it or not. This also works with the TV shows. So many times you may see or feel that you're watching like maybe a Netflix binge series of like Chef Gordon Ramsay cursing every 5 minutes. And then when you're cooking the dinner, then all of a sudden you're noticing that you're cursing and you're slamming your frying pan. Right? That's because there's energetic transference. Whether you're watching it through or you're experiencing real life, it doesn't matter. It still gets bonded and it gets energetically transferred to you. So you want to always be aware and consciously focused for what items that you're always engaging with. Now, speaking of that, we take any crystal. You don't have to do anything, but what I'm telling you is each crystal has a free get new crystals. We are supposed to bless them, sage them, wash them in salt water. Unless the crystal can't be washed, some of them can't be washed, but you would want to cleanse the energetics out. If you have a pointed crystal with sides, that means that that crystal can hold the amount of sides is the amount of programs the crystal holds. That's important to know as well. When we start to tell the crystals to clear out the programs, we want to just hold it in our hands and see how it makes us feel. So I've gotten a bad crystal before from Amazon, and I'm telling you, I didn't believe it at the time. I was very physically focused back then, but I put this crystal, and it was a necklace around 4 different people's necks, and they all had anxiety attacks. I was one of them. I was crying hysterical. And then my mother at the time, my husband at the time, my neighbor at the time, every last one of us had anxiety attacks. So we can program dark objects. That's what this is called. You guys can take any object, and I'm going to explain how to do it in love and light because that's what I do. I do not teach dark arts. You can take a crystal and you can imagine and visualize and cast. It's casting, it's energetic casting into the crystal. Imagine, visualize, and tell the crystal, thank you, crystal, for bringing pure love, peace, joy, and abundance. Thank you for healing the person who's around you, or thank you for allowing the person utilizing you to cast that energy and heal all the people that they choose to. Right? That's it. But you have to do it every day. And we have to still utilize time and space until we can instantaneously manifest things, which is fine too. We are coming into the day and age in which we can instantaneously manifest. I've seen it done, so I know we can. So that's a solid fact in my reality. Now, when we start casting into the crystals, we program them. Actually, we just did this in the last Shadow Work Zoom on last Thursday, I believe. So we took all the crystals and we programmed them with whatever affirmations everybody wanted. So the star people will help to do that too. And it's a wonderful thing because when you start to work with the crystals and you've had them programmed, you can feel the energy shift. Now, I do this all the time with my crystals, so I know. Now, when we start to put them around the house in different spaces, some of them, like the healing quartz, this is a yellow healing quartz, I believe. You could take it, you could put it in a space, and it's going to start to transmutate your energies in that space. So, really, in like hospitals and such, we should be using crystals like big amethyst geodes and all sorts of like larger crystals should be put there because the people will heal faster. Now, just imagine what's going to happen when we have 30, 40, 50 of us all standing around the crystal with our hands like this, sending so much love and light from our heart chakras, thanking the crystal for healing all of the people in the hospital. That's going to send out that frequency wave, which then in turn is going to start to affect all the people who go in there for healing. This is real. This is very real. Now, the second that we become aware, oh, this is how this works, maybe we should start taking crystals and infusing them on our casts, right? So if you have a cast, you have your arm in a cast, you should super glue some crystals to it or crystal powder paint or something because it's something that is maintaining a particular frequency range, which is assisting in our healing. So it's very wonderful. You asked about the hands for the crystal work. Hands on for the crystal work? Don't be the monkey in the middle like 80% are. Okay, let's see. So, what is the difference between density and dimension? So, density, we have to actually tune into what is a vibration. So we know the vibration is your emotion in the now moment. When you hold a particular vibration for an extended period of time, that vibration starts to encode your binary codex frequency, which then in turn starts to change like your oscillation. So that would basically be your frequency range is going to be encoded by your vibration. So these are how the two things works. Now, the density is basically that vibration. That vibration, if you're super high frequency and loving, caring, kind, then you're not going to have as much density. So the density is what slows down the atoms and molecules. It what makes us feel very tired, very sick, right? We get this way because we're holding on to a lot of density. Now we can also sense the density as if it is darkness in the energetics. So that darkness is going to be traumas, fears, anything negative, your emotions, it gets cast into the energetics and then it sticks there. And then all of a sudden, that's density. It's compressing you or making you at a slower oscillation speed. Speed taps, tunes you into a 3D reality. Now, dimensions is length times width times height. So it gives you a 3D form. However, dimensions goes 1,000 layers deeper than that because the dimension also must include time and space because you cannot have a physical item unless you're taking into consideration the time and space of that item. So what that looks like is when we see a car traveling, that car, if it's doing 65 miles an hour, you're going to get a blink shot of it. If you're looking straight and you see it pass you, it's going to be very rapid. You're barely going to catch it. Now, if you slow it down, you just change the length times the width times the height just by changing the time and space. So that's how this works. That is the dimension. Now, different dimensions, we live in a multiverse, which is absolutely amazing and beautiful because certain dimensions are made up of different color spectrums. Certain dimensions are made up of you in a different body because the length times width times height, all of that information that's encoded, it gets changed. Now, the way that we work this multi-universe, multi-dimensional universe, as star people are saying, is we start to work with the higher self. We pull our consciousness back. We cast the consciousness back up. We blend in with the higher self, and then we pick and choose what lifetime we wish to express in the now moment. That's how it's done. Of course, baby steps is needed, and you have to dive in and do the meditations. The meditation does not have to be an hour-long meditation. Just imagine and visualize pulling yourself. Imagine and visualize pulling your consciousness up, and just imagine making contact and communication with the higher self. That's one ability. Now, there's another ability that we have to touch on. The star people are saying we have to tell you guys about like good luck magic, right? And so it's not magic, it's good luck manifestation for us scientists in the room. Now, good luck manifestation is putting yourself into a really, really high frequency of love, joy, and bliss, following your highest passion, not worrying about stuff, right? You just let it go. Not that you want to be carefree, but you want to always shine your heart as bright as you can, even when we're dealing with negative or lower vibrational experientials. That's okay too. It's okay to walk the darkness. It's okay to heal it. And it's okay to cast compassion at yourself. That's okay. This is how we get the job done. So when we start to come into alignment, that higher self is going to come down because it's magnetic in its nature. And it's going to come down and it's going to take its seat in the heart chakra, which flowers open. Now, the second that we can coax that higher self down and flower her open, then all of a sudden, she puts you on the highest potential timeline to experience the most amount of love, joy, and bliss. So it's kind of like good luck. It's good luck manifestations because you are always going to be at the right place at the right time to experience your highest passion and potential. This is how it works. So you have to baby step the process. If you can laugh all day long, and even if you're laughing at yourself, you're laughing at it doesn't matter. Make something funny in your life so that you laugh. That laugh opens up the heart chakra. Now, it'll heal you faster than any other modality, by the way. So if you're sick, laughter heals rapidly because the second that you laugh, you are opening up and allowing that higher self to take his or her seat in the body. The higher self is an energetic, so it's not really a gender. Now, Okay, so we only had 4 questions today. The final question was, why do I breathe in the mouth? Because this person was always shown to breathe in the nose. This is very, very important. I'm super happy and glad and excited that this person asked this, because anytime we're doing any type of attachment removals or shadow work, I always tell you guys, take a deep breath in like this. Right? Now, do it again with your nose only. So go ahead, every single person watching this, take a deep breath in with your nose. Now release. Do it again with your mouth. And release. What difference did you guys feel? Right? There's a big difference, because your nose, it's not going to open up the heart chakra that we want it to. It's like you have to actually do a double nose inhale to get it to do what we want it to do. So do a double nose inhale like this. Watch. And then stop and then breathe in again. Even doing that, you have to take it all in at the mouth and take it in so that you feel your chest. It's like the upper chest where your heart chakra is. You want that to expand. And so whenever we're doing any type of attachment removal, star people are saying, whenever we're doing the attachment removal, we have everyone take a nice deep breath in, and then it's opening that heart chakra. And so what's happening when we're opening the heart chakra, we are coaxing down that higher self to assist us in clearing the attachments. So we'll say the attachment twice, whatever its name is, get off, go home. And then on the third time, after 2 times, we take a deep breath in. We feel the upper lungs right here. It has to be right over the heart chakra. You have to feel it expand. And then we release, and then we say it a third time for the attachment to get off and go home. The third time, the higher self is involved when we do that. So there is different types of breathwork meditations that are extremely important to know about as well. So I believe Wim Hof talks about one where he's utilizing the nose, nice and slow inhales. So, but then when you're breathing out, he wants you to breathe out the mouth and push it all out. So you get all of the air to come out. And then you take another gentle breath in, and then very violently push it all out. So what you're actually doing is you're taking in less air than you are pushing out. When you do that, it's actually activating your fight or flight systems. Your body will start to go into very, very deep meditations very rapidly when you do that alone. Now, when we want to do breath work to do things like activate different energetics, as well as brain cohesion. So we have 4 quadrants in the brain, we have 4 quadrants in the heart. Now, in time, right now, we're only talking about cohesion in 2. In time, we are going to be talking about cohesion in 4, which changes the game for all of us, because if you guys want to level up your consciousness, then all 4 of the brain has to be in cohesion. All 4 chambers in the heart has to be in cohesion with the frequency. This is my information is coming from the star people. So I don't have no way scientifically to tell you guys that this is correct. I just know I listen to them because they make a whole lot of sense with the science they're giving me. So all 4 of the heart chambers have to be in, it's a frequency cohesion. Both of them come into cohesion together, and that really starts to activate the energetics. And then all of a sudden, when you start to drop into meditation and you have all 4 chambers, remember, all 4 is connected to the 4 elemental Kundalini channels that go up and down the body. Earth, air, fire, water. 4 is a primary number in this reality. This is what we experience. Now, there's also a sacred geometry behind the number 4 and why it's valuable to us. So the 4 is left, front, right, and the rear. Those 4 Kundalini channels start to activate with these systems. And then all of a sudden, when you properly raise the Kundalini channel, there is a halo activation that we can do as well. That halo activation, if somebody was in, like, let's say they astral projected and they were able to stand next to you as you're doing the meditation, they would be able to see your energetics. And when you're putting all the cohesion, all these working parts together, and you start consciously activating your energetics, then all of a sudden the energy kind of flows upwards. That higher self flows down, and it makes like an energy that looks like a halo. This is all in the energetics. Now, in time, you have to realize many ancient texts speak about the veil being dropped, or the veil is lifted, to start people correcting me. When the veil is lifted, what does that mean? That means that we can see into the realities that right now we currently cannot see. You have to realize that the visible spectrum of light the human eye can see is super tiny. There's this much there. We see this. That's it. That's the veil. The way to remove the veil is to do exactly what I'm telling you guys to do. Now, when we want to start to cause brain between the left and the right, cover one nostril, take a breath. Now release. Now release. What this is doing is there's a blood-brain barrier in your nose. There's a reason why the nose is very important. So we know that certain substances up the nose, it triggers right into the brain automatically. This is just the area and the way the brain works with the sinus cavity here. So when we cover one, this sinus on this side is going to tune into this brainwave hemisphere, the star people are saying, which then in turn we turn into this one, it's going to activate this one. So it's kind of like you're coaxing one and then the other, causing cohesion to come. You have to get your breath into a steady rhythm, right? And then the meditation kicks in. That's only working with the internals. Now imagine that you guys as well. We know about mudras, touching the fingers, having different electrical circuits that we connect to, putting your thumbs in your heart. As you're doing the meditations, you guys can do this too. Your temples, you can feel your heartbeat in your temples. There's abilities when you start to use your temple and you start to tune into other people's memory grids, you can start to see everything. Your body or your higher self, your intuition is about this person. You do not have to be standing in front of them. Your heartbeat is going to be an indication. So you give it a commandment. The commandment is give me one thump for yes or two for no. And then you just sit there, tell you, because you know how we have heart palpitation, actually communication. Not when it's done all the time. If your heart is like sitting, then go see a doctor. But if you are asking your body for a biological response and you are actually receiving the form of a little thump, your body is trying to communicate with you. The body does this on so many different levels too, because we can start to program action codes into the physical form. Now, what does that look like? If you guys have ever had panic attacks and you need to calm yourself down, then what you would do is take an area of your body. It does not matter where. If you have a freckle, that's wonderful because then you'll never lose the spot. And then you program an action code on that spot. So what you do is you're going to touch that spot and you're going to tell your body how to feel when you touch it. Right? So, hey, body, I'm going to feel peaceful and relaxed anytime I touch this spot. Right? And then all of a sudden, put your body into position. So, command it. Right? I am peaceful. I am relaxed. Your worries, your stresses, just allow all of that to go. Allow your body to become nice and relaxed and peaceful. Allow it to sink in. Now do it again. Thank you, body. You may have to do this 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. You are going to one day touch that spot and your body's going to be like, I know what to do. And it's just going to relax you. And then that's not only it. You can program so many different things, right? That's only one to calm you down from a panic attack. Now let's trigger one. So maybe you touch your ear. Thank you, ear, because you're bringing your conscious focus to the ear. Thank you for ringing or double ringing. Someone's lying. So, right? And now all of a sudden, you watch videos when someone's lying. You could see the micro expressions by the face. And so your subconscious when someone's lying by multiple cues. It's not only the micro expressions, it's not only the body language, but it's also the reverse speech. Because any speech that you are speaking and you play it in reverse, it's going to actually start to give you words, and those words are going to be things or their thoughts and emotions and intentions. So if someone is writing a love song, you're going to start to hear the words, I love him, in the background of the Disney ones are really interesting to reverse speech, because you're going to start to pull some serious hardcore messages. So it's important to just, know who you're listening to. Unfortunately, the music industry, we really want to take it back down and start listening to homegrown people, right? So people that are local, start listening to them. Start in time, the musical instruments also have to be retuned back into more of a sacred geometric frequency range. So 432 hertz, we know is the Earth's frequency. That's also love. So when we start to utilize different frequencies in musical instruments, it can seriously heal you. Now, nature songs, wonderful for healing. Because if you guys sit, like let's say PTSD people or anxiety, if you go and sit by a creek and just sounds of the running water, that's going to start to heal your depression. You got to realize that your emotions are fluid in their nature. We cry fluid. When we cleanse and purify the emotion grid, it's a saltwater bath. And so we're in fluid. Now, your electrical systems are electricity. It's our chi energetics. That's the stuff that's pumping our heart, right? And the heart is dealing with the fluids of the body as well as the electricity. This is why it's so important, because that's where the two connect. This is the 0 point, which is right inside the heart chakra, except it's actually two X's, one like this and one like this. And then it's generating your toroidal field, which is circular in its nature, kind of looks like a donut, but it looks like your aura field. So we see it as just a big round ball of light, which is beautiful. Okay. This was amazing, amazing channel. You guys see, and hopefully the audio went good. And hug a tree for 1 minute at least. Oh, the trees can heal us too. Just imagine for 1 second, we're stepping into a day and age in which people can see your energetic grids. And so if you have an imbalance in the root chakra, they can see it, they can sense it. The trees can do this too. So when I was going through my healing, the star people were like, you live up a mountain, go hang out in the forest, go walk through the trees. They had me just doing this past week and two, walking up the mountain and just being at peace in the trees and listening to the creek, all of the stuff. So it's very healing. And then when we're in there, mushrooms can spontaneously spawn for us as well. So, what happened? They just shut off. Damn. Just totally X'd out my entire laptop. So ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. Facebook. Well, is the we're doing they totally blanked out my computer. Like they just flat out reset my computer. So funny. Talking about mushrooms. Hopefully you guys, they're back now. Okay. If it's still live. No, it looks anyway. Instagram tonight is the shadow work. So if you guys would like to join, just send a message to daniellipton.com and I will send you guys a complimentary Zoom link into the shadow work healing session. So we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30. It starts. So I have a government man, and so it's a thing. It's all right. It is. I try not to freak people out because some people were getting kind of scared, but yeah, he's like cloaked, and it is what it is. I'm safe, so I'm not worried. But anyway, we do the shadow work healing Zoom, and that is going to join me. And you guys have a wonderful evening, and there's a problem with this. It's so ridiculous. Use the crystal. Oh, you're still here? I was just gonna cancel it. Let me see. Cancel. Are you guys still here? I think you're still here. Uh, yeah. So tonight, just send me a message to daniellelipton.com and I will send you guys a Zoom link so dive in deep and we could do shadow work and we heal. Nancy, it's a God. He's total. I've been feeling him all he's here. It's okay. 8:30, we start the shadow work. So please join me and you guys have a wonderful evening. Many, many love and blessings.